Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a fall rope and leaf garland. This can be placed anywhere. I have chosen to put it on my fireplace. I don't have a real fireplace. My husband actually built one for us for last Christmas, so that's what I'm going to be decorating with this garland. I'm going to show you all the supplies so we can go ahead and get to crafting. Alright, so let me tell you what I've got here. I've got some items that are from the Dollar Tree and some of them are from other craft stores such as Hobby Lobby. I got this decorative nautical rope and I did get this from the Dollar Tree. It is 13 feet long and was only $1. I thought this was a great deal. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I grabbed it because I thought this is either going to be great for fall or for Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and use this to create my garland on. Now from the Dollar Tree I have been purchasing these little fall leaves, these little packages. I've got a ton of them. I also have a smaller package here. Well, not a smaller package, but a smaller leaf. Here we go, little tiny little leaf. This is called a confetti actually. This is from Hobby Lobby actually. This is a $5 bag. I got it on sale for 40% off, so it's no big deal for me. And these were only $1 each because of course they're from the Dollar Tree. And I thought this was a great purchase, and I have just collected some. I do already have some in a bag that's already open, so you're probably going to see me using these, but just in case I have these ready. Also from the Dollar Tree I got these other leaves. These are a burlap leaf. Now I don't remember if they had it in the brown. They may have had it and I overlooked it because I already had some in brown burlap or the tan burlap or khaki, whatever you want to call it. But I did find them in this burgundy or maroon color. It is very pretty. It has 5 and they're nice and huge. I'm going to be using those. Now the other ones that I do have are from Hobby Lobby and I purchased them on clearance from last year, but they do have them again this year. Like I said, I don't recall if at Dollar Tree they had the one that is in this natural color is what I'm going to call it. But they may have, so you might want to look for that. I think they did have it in a green. I'm not sure. Anyway, moving along, I've got this one here. This is like a maple style, like the one I just showed you, and this is more like an oak leaf. These are $5 packets, but like I said, I got them on clearance. But right now at Hobby Lobby, they're 40% off. But if you can find them elsewhere, go ahead and use that, or you can just buy some fabric, some burlap fabric, and use the inexpensive leaf from the Dollar Tree as your pattern to cut some out, okay? I'm also going to be using some raffia. This is also from the Dollar Tree. I got a little 3-pack here. I'm going to go ahead and use that. I've got some jute here, some twine, and I'm going to use a little bit of that from one of these little rolls, which I've already been using. Now I've got some mesh that I used on my scarecrow hat, the one that I made with a tomato cage. And I have this beautiful roll, so I'm going to be using some of this mesh, and since I already had some pieces cut out, those are great and they're already started up for me. I also have some burlap ribbon that I purchased. This is probably from Hobby Lobby more than likely, or I may have purchased it from a store called At Home. It is just a burlap ribbon. They do have some at the Dollar Tree just like that, and I do have a little bit left over. I have tons of rolls of these, but I didn't want to dig them out because I want to use them for Christmas. I have some ideas that I want to do with burlap, so I want to use as much as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and use this roll that I had already started, and plus it's actually a better quality ribbon that won't fall apart. This one kind of falls apart a lot since I'm going to be putting it on my garland and we might walk by it or touch it or whatever. I don't want it, you know, just shredding or fraying all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I've also got leftover ribbon from last year from fall. So I've got this one here that's 1.5 inches wide. I thought that was really pretty. It's got that beautiful natural color, and then it's got these beautiful oak leaves on there with a little bit of glitter touch. I also have this other larger ribbon that's 2.5 inch wide ribbon that has some pumpkins on it. You can use whatever you want. You don't have to use what I'm using. I also have these little berry stems that I got from the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has some great little stems. If you only want to use a little bit, they're only $1. They're a great deal, great buy. So I've got that. Let's see. I'm going to be using a measuring tape. I've got my wire cutters. I've got scissors, needle nose pliers. I got my hot glue gun and some glue sticks because I'm going to be using a little bit of that. I do have some floral wire. I'm just using up what I have from these bits before I start using a brand new one. I did pull out my chenille stems just in case I needed them for something, but it's just my basic stuff that I normally put out as far as tools are concerned. All right, so let's get to crafting. Right, so the first step to making our garland is deciding how long we want it to be. I've already gone ahead and I've measured my mantle on top of my fireplace, and it is 60 inches, and just happens that my table here is also 60 inches long. So this is the measurement that is my mantle. Okay, so, but I also want some pieces to hang down. So I thought maybe a foot on each side, so that's another 24 inches. So that'll actually make it 84 inches. Okay, but I also do not want my garland to just lay flat, you know, against the edge of my mantle. I want it to droop a little bit, so I'm adding 4 inches for that. So that gives me 88 inches. And just for the heck of it, I'm going with 90 inches. I could use a couple of inches extra on the sides hanging off. So let's go ahead and cut this to 90 inches. And I believe I should have plenty of this. My measuring tape measures up to 60, so I'm going to do that and then add another 30 inches. 60 right here. Let's bring this back. And 30. So this piece right here is what I need. Now what we want to do is we want to make all the little decorative parts that I want to put on my rope. Now, like I said, my mantle is 60 inches, so I want to find the center here and measure 30 this way and measure 30 that way. And I'm just going to mark my center with a little bit of a piece of chenille. So let me go ahead and fold it up here. I'm going to fold it, and this is my center right here. And I'm going to put this nice and tight so it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so I said 60 inches, so that's 30 inches that way, 30 inches to the left, 30 inches to the right, okay? But I did say I'm giving it a 4-inch slack, so I'm going to divide the 4 inches by 2. So I'm going to measure 32. Let me get another chenille stem. Let me cut some little pieces here, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, let's see. We are going to measure and mark it at 32 right here. Like that. Actually, I think 4 inches was a little too much. So I'm gonna do 3 inches. I think what I did is I estimated upward. So I'm gonna do 3 inches. So that's actually, instead of 2 inches extra, I'm gonna go 1.5 inches. So I'm just gonna push this down 1/2 inch. Just a bit. And then what you could do is you can measure the other side and mark it as well, or you could just fold it in half again and then just mark, you know, that equally the same, more or less. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, the reason that I have marked this is because I do want to know where my center is, and then I want to know what pieces are actually going to be at the corners of my mantle. So this kind of hangs down like that. So I marked it there because I do want to put some bows on each end. And then of course these are the bits that are going to be hanging off of my mantle. So that's what I want to know. I'm going to kind of give myself a visual of where things can be placed, which you can also do again if you have an odd number of some items. Like I have those burgundy leaves and I've only got 5 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this part also in half. Let me get some more of these chenille pieces. Okay, and I'm just going to mark more or less that. And the same with this one. Okay, so now I've got these marking my spots. Now from here I can put whatever I want on my garland. If I want to make it Christmassy, I can use some pieces of pine spray, some leaves for spring. I can do anything with this right now. I'm not going to fill this up completely with decorations. I do want the rope to show in this case, but if you want to use it for a different occasion, or if you want yours to be really full, just add more things to it. But I'm just going to add my leaves. So I'm going to start off by decorating my little pieces. So let me take my leaves over here. Okay. So it's kind of folded down here, so I'm just going to unfold that. It's got a nice little wire part here, so what I was thinking about doing with the twine was putting a couple of little pieces so that I could then tie them around here, but because this has a nice little wire, I can actually just tie this around it. And I don't even have to tighten it tight, I can just hang it like that, so then I can just remove it and then put it away for another occasion and maybe use the rope for something else. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use these little wire bits on here. I want to use these fall leaves to decorate on top of this. So I've got my hot glue gun ready. Let's pull some of these out. Oops. I've got my little fan going again. Alright, so I'm just going to take a couple of little leaves. This big yellow one, like that. The orange one, like so. And then I'm going to take one of these little mini ones from the confetti bag and put it right on top just to decorate it. A little simple, just like that. We don't need to put too much on it. Okay, that's that. You could take these as well. And I have a ton of these, as you can see. The package has 16 pieces. You should just let the fan blow those away. And I can do the same with these. I can also decorate these with some of my leaves. I'll take an orange one. Oops. Get it on there. I like this color right here. Let's move that out of the way. That one on top. There you go. You could decorate them, add some little acorns on them, maybe even some pine cones, whatever you find. You can decorate these little leaves any way you want. I'm just decorating them with these leaves. Okay, I'm going to take another one and do the same to that one, just so you can see I'm doing the same exact thing over and over. Okay, there we go. That one is decorated as well. Now we could also take some raffia. Let me open this up. So, okay, this is where the length is, so I'm just going to cut a little bit of it. Take a little bundle of raffia like so. This is really hard. So I do like this raffia from the Dollar Tree, but it's actually a little bit stiffer than the soft raffia that you find, say, at Michael's or even Hobby Lobby. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit less. Just a little bundle, and take one of the strips from the bundle and then just knot it and tie it around like that. And you can use this same little bundle on these little leaves and stick it on there and decorate it like that. Now you could use a different color of raffia if you prefer. So that's a little idea right there. I'm also going to take my mesh, the bit of mesh that I have. This one happens to be 10 inches long, but at the Dollar Tree they have a 6-inch wide, I should say, not long, but it is 10 inches wide. They have a 6-inch width one, and then you could just take your pieces and cut them at the size that you want. These happen to be 6-inch by 10-inch. So I'm just going to curl them up. And this is where we also take some extra. I'm going to take a chenille stem. I'm going to take some of this raffia and put it right in the middle. Let's even this one out a little bit by centering it. Okay, now we're just tie it in there. And now we've got mesh curls with raffia in them as well. So that's all you have to do is start creating your little decorations. I'm also going to take some of this ribbon. This is 10 inches. So I'm just going to cut about 10 inches of this as well. I'm going to cut my little ends here and little dovetails. I call them a little snake tongue, but that's what I do. Just cut them like that. Take your mesh, curl it up. Now you could curl it up, or you could do the gather and create like a little bow. That's up to you. I really like the little curl, so that's what I'm going to use. And I feel like it kind of keeps it from fraying more that way. I'm not really sure, but I just feel like that's the way it happens, with me at least. You could just put a little bit of ribbon on there if you want to take some raffia also as well and put some in the middle. Give it a little more. Let's get some pieces here. Give it a little bit more of a decor. Put that in there. Wrap it up. And that is how that looks. Okay, so I'm just going to produce some pieces of mesh and some leaves, as many as I can, that I think I can fill up my rope with. Not necessarily fill it up completely, but you know, make it look nice and full and pretty. I do have this berry stems as well. These I can just also take a leaf like so and then just glue that right on there, or even on the bigger one, whichever one you feel you like best. So just prepare all your little pieces first, and I would tell you how many of these I needed for my particular garland when I'm done. I do have some twine here, so that if I want to tie some of these leaves by themselves, I can. Let me go ahead and do that for you. Just get a piece about 6 or 8 inches long, and then on the back of it, little center part here on the top of the leaf here. Add some glue. Add your little rope. So you have this, and then you can use this little rope to tie around the garland rope to attach it that way. Or you could just hot glue them straight onto the rope. So this is what you can do to prepare all your, I guess your, I can't even think of the word, your elements for your garland. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and I shall be back. Alright, I am back, and I have finished putting together all my elements for my garland. I did my large burlap leaves here, these burgundy ones, and I went ahead and I added those little berry stems to each one of those. I had 5, so I did all 5 the same, as you can see right there. These other maple leaves in the natural burlap, I just added a couple of little leaves on each one. I have 16 pieces of those. And then the oak ones, all I did was add some little raffia bundle at the very top. I've got 16 of those. And then I did my mesh bundles, and what I did is I added the ribbon and raffia to all of them rather than doing one of each. I just did 12 of those. And then I've got the burlap ribbon that I had shown you at the beginning, and I cut about 6 inches. Some of them might be 5 inches. They're 5 or 6 inches. I wasn't really measuring them. And then I created these little bundles with leaves. All that was is just taking a piece like that. You can see the ends are cut so that they have that little duck tail on it. I took a little piece of this twine and just tied it around once, because then I'm going to wrap it around the rope. So that's what that little twine is for. I don't need any wire or chenille stem for that. A little bit of glue there, put a leaf, a little bit of glue on this little leaf. There we go. That's all it is. It's just a little bundle. Very simple, but I think effective, and that looks really pretty. There is something that I wanted to tell you about these particular burlap leaves. If you look at the back, they have some wire, and all I did was curve the wire to give the leaves a little more dimension, so they're not just laying flat like this or hanging flat. I just did a little manipulating, bent them like so. So now they have a little dimension to them. They're not laying flat. And of course, the berries and the leaves add more dimension to it. And I think that's really cool. And again, this little piece is for hooking onto the rope. So I've got all that ready. And then I decided, as I told you, I wanted to put 2 bows on my garland where they're going to be actually at the edge of the mantle board. So I created a small bow. I didn't do anything too big because I felt like none of my items here were very, you know, full, very dramatic. I think once I put everything together it will be, but I still didn't want my bow to be too dramatic. I wanted it to be simple, so I made a simple 3-loop bow, and I just took some ribbon and I decided that I wanted a long tail. Let me go ahead and cut the end and that same little dovetail. And I think I did about 12 inches. I think I did a little bit extra because once I put it on my garland, I'm kind of going to bend it like that. So that'll shorten it a bit and it won't be any longer than the rope. So you can just do that once you have it on your mantle. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pinch, and I'm just going to do 3 loops. I have the links in the description box below where you can go and see close-up detail of how I make handmade bows. Okay, and now for the other tail, I decided to do a short one. I didn't want to do a long one, and I could use floral wire or I could use a chenille stem. I've cut one in half here, and that's what I'm going to tie around the bow. And then of course the little tails, I'm going to leave them as they are on the chenille because that is what I'm going to use to tie around the bow. And of course once I have it on my garland, I can poof up my bow and fold it, or you know, bend it any way I want because it does have wire. Okay, so now I've got my 2 bows already made, and I'm going to wait till I've actually got my garland on the mantle before I actually put the bows, because I have a way of attaching my garland to the mantle, and I will show you how I do that so that you have an idea. Okay, so now I'm going to take my rope here where I have it all measured. All these little markings, this is where my bows are going to go. I'm not going to remove those little bits, even though I can, because once I get it on my mantle, I'll know where the middle is. And then I've got these other measurements here, which is the center of, you know, the 2 halves going across. Okay, so in my middle part, because I have 5 of these flowers, or not flowers, but leaves, I'm going to put one in the middle. So I'm going to start with whatever decoration I want in the middle. Maybe in the middle you want to also hang maybe a little ornament. I can go ahead and remove this. I don't need that as a measure marker anymore because I've got the leaf now that I'm putting there. And I'm just going to wrap the wire around the rope, and that will attach it just like that. Let me show you how it looks in the back. It'll just simply attach just like that. Okay, now I've got 4 more of these. So now that I know that this is the middle, I can separate 2 of these on this part. I'm not going to have any on the part that hangs down, and I don't want to put anywhere the bows are going to go. These are my markings for the bows. That's why I feel like you should mark your garland where your bows are going to be, or go ahead and add your bows so that you know not to put anything there. Anyway, I'm going to go halfway down the halfway mark on each side and add another little leaf here. The same on the other side. And I love that this has this wire. If it didn't have this wire, like I said, you would take a little bit of the twine and make a, you know, a little piece, and you fold it in half. The folded part, you would glue it to the leaf, so then you have the 2 ends to tie around. I showed you a little leaf earlier, and I didn't end up doing those little leaves. I ended up putting little leaves because I forgot that, oh, I do have this little burlap ribbon, so I ended up putting them on there. Okay, let's put this on here now. I think this will kind of separate them enough. Okay, and then one over here. So whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other side. Alright, so now I'm going to take my, what I feel is my next to my larger bit, and that is these bundles. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I don't need that there anymore. I'm going to put this instead. And then just tie that little black chenille. What you need to do is you need to just get some chenille that matches your work, your pieces. So here I probably could have used some gold chenilles, or I could have used even silver, or if brown or natural color, if that exists. Use that instead of the black. Okay, I'm using this. I'm going to mark that with one of these instead. And I've got 12 of those, so they're going to go a long way. I may not even use them all. Okay, I'm going to put some on here, between these two leaves also. I might scoot it over if I find that I want to put another one. I am going to go ahead and continue filling my garland, but I wanted to kind of put it out like this so you can see how it's looking. Let's move these out of the way. I have a ton of those to fill, but look at that. Look how pretty it looks just like that. I could stop right there actually, but I am going to go ahead and add some more because that's just me. I may end up hiding the rope. But the two chenille stems that I used to mark where the bows are going to go, or the corners, I am not going to remove those. Those are going to stay. I could, because now I have an idea, you know, this is where it's going to hang from more or less. So I could remove them, but that's just telling me that that's where my bows are going to go. So I don't really want to put anything there and then cover it up with a bow. All right, I'm going to continue adding more. I'm going to continue on with this because this is pretty much the next largest element. And then I'll add the oak leaves with the raffia, and then I'll fill in with these little bows if I have to. If not, I'll save those, or maybe I'll even have to save these for something else. And I shall be back. All right, everyone, this is my completed garland. I've gone ahead and just put the bows on there. Let me turn it around so that you can see that. I've put the bows, and one here as well on these ends, where this is going to go on my mantle like this. If you want to also attach it from the middle and do two loops hanging off of your mantle, you could put a bow in the middle here if you preferred to do that, or a little ornament, as I said. So this is going to go on my mantle. I think I did a pretty good job. I'm now going to take this over to it and attach it so that I can show you how I did that. I do have some of these little leaves left over, and some of these, this really filled this up. I could have put a lot less because as my original thought was that the rope was going to show, and I pretty much almost covered it. But I do have these left over, so I didn't use them all. Now, once I have it hanging, I could also attach these if I wanted, or I'll just save them for something else around my home. I am also going to give you another tip that you could also take the rope and put it on your mantle, attach it, make sure that it's well attached and it's not going to fall off with any weight that you then put on there, and then attach all these little pieces as you have it already hanging, you know, the rope already hanging on your mantle. That way you can be looking at it a little bit better rather than the way that I did it on my table, because, you know, it kept moving this way and that way, and then I lost my place, and I'm like, okay, where am I? And I kind of was trying to do everything that I did on one side, the same on the other side. So that's just my little tip, is put it on there. I've got my wire cutters that I haven't used, but I'm going to use them now, and the floral wire that I had not used, and I'm going to use it now, and I'm going to show you why I have a floral wire. So let's go over there and put it up on the mantle. All right, so this is one end of my mantle, and back here I have these invisible command hook. I have one on each side, one here and one on the opposite end. I used this last year to hang my Christmas garland, and because it's kind of clear and see-through, I didn't worry about it. I just left it there all year long, and then I just put some items around it just to kind of cover it up. It doesn't really show. Nobody really even looks at it except us, so my husband and I are the only ones that know it's there. So anyway, you could have that there, or you could have a smaller one on the ends, because those 3 command hooks, or the command brand, or I don't know if it's Scotch or 3M, but they do come off easily, so you could actually use a small one here in the end if you wanted to. But because my garland for Christmas was so heavy, I ended up putting it back here so that I could use a stronger one. And of course this is about so thick and it wouldn't go on here the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I've got my wire, and what I want to do is where I marked my garland with a black chenille. Let's see, let me find it. It's right here. This is the tail that I decided was going to hang off, and I want this right here. That's where a bow is going to go. Let me move the camera down just a tiny bit there. This is where I want my camera to go, where this little chenille is marking. So I need wire to come all the way down here and grab a hold of this rope, and then I'll do the same thing over there. So I just want a piece, and I'm going to double it, the length, and then plus a little extra for tying. So that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay, so now I just want to get where the center is, grab the 2 ends, and then grab it onto this little hook here. You could wrap it around a couple of times if you feel better. I'm just going to wrap it around once. Bring the 2 ends over here, right where I marked it, where my bow is going to be. That is where I'm going to take the 2 ends of the wire, twist them, and at this point I could remove that little chenille stem or just leave it on there. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. So now this is one end of my garland hanging here. The rest of it I will drape it across my fireplace, and I'll show you how that looks. But what I'm going to do to the other end is grab a hold of it over there, just like I did this one. Okay, so now that I have that there, I can go ahead and place my bow. And I just grab the 2 ends of the chenille stem and wrap it around that. Let me go ahead and move over to the other side so I can bring my garland across and tie it over. And then I'll show you what it all looks like, and I'll poof up the bow so that you can see how pretty it looks. All right, everyone, I have completely hung my garland on my fireplace. I went ahead and I put a little tack right here in the middle, and the same wire from the leaf that I put in the center, the same little wire that I had on it, I just hooked it on that little tack so it would have a double drape here, as you can see. I think it looks lovely. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. Please leave a nice comment down below. I hope you enjoyed this simple, lots of work garland. Put less on there and it won't be so much work. Of course, like I said, you could use this for Christmas or any other holiday, just using a simple rope piece and measuring it to the size of your mantle, and then just decorating it as you wish. But prepare all your little items before you actually place them on there. Okay, so there we go. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell, because I do put out a video every Tuesday and every Friday, and I might throw in some food recipes here and there. From here on, it's going to be all crafts, and it is going to be Christmas, and I'm really excited. I plan on doing a whole farmhouse theme in my house. I'm going to change it from my years and years of traditional reds, and I have a reason for doing something different, which I will tell you then when we get closer to Christmas. So here we go. This is it. I hope that you enjoy it. Make sure you share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.